Hello, my name is Alexander Morari, and I'm the founder of ITKeyMedia. You've tuned into our podcast about Central and Eastern European startups that are in pre-Series A stage. Our guest today is Remus Pop, the co-founder of Neurolabs. That's a company that builds a computer vision platform, allowing users to build custom image recognition algorithms using 3D models. Bună ziua, Remus.
Bună ziua, Alex. How are you?
Cum stai?
Foarte bine. Tu?
Maybe this is more Italian than Romanian. Sorry if I didn't quite hit the bullseye there. Look, before we start with the scenario itself, I cannot avoid a question about a new universe, AR, VR kind of centered. That is one of the tech giants. I mean, at least two tech giants are about to introduce into our lives, and basically make our lives less real, more AR and VR driven. What do you think of Metaverse? Let's start with Facebook's Metaverse. And will you find a place of your product or your solutions in this Metaverse?
These are two great questions. I think these two questions can keep us busy for the next hour or so.
To make it easier for you, you have 2 minutes.
Okay, what do I think about Metaverse? I like it and I don't like it. I think I mostly don't like it, but I can't help thinking about it because eventually I do believe that it will play a big role in our lives. It's probably not something that will be done in the next 5, maybe not even like 10 years. Yeah, we'll have like some first versions of that, some prototypes, but like if you ask me about the real Metaverse, I think there's going to be a wow place and a very challenging engineering and technological project, but also like challenge for humanity. But yeah, I know I might be a little bit more, you know, I'm from those generations that grew up playing in the backyard with other kids, not playing computer games all day, or like not relying on avatars to replace their social interaction. So when I think about the Metaverse from that perspective, I don't, yeah, I'm not a big fan of the idea. I'm not sure that what we need currently is less physical interaction, to put it that way.
So mixed feelings, but also the inclination is closer to negative. Same with me. I'm a outright opposer and protester basically against this. And now, what about your product and solution? Do you think you will find a good place in this Metaverse for yourself?
Yeah. So I think this question couldn't be a better time than now. We just spent like together with my co-founders and our existing investors. We spent last weekend together, basically for 2 days, just talking about how Neurolabs fits into the Metaverse world.
Really,
10 years and beyond story. So our thesis really is about, you know, whereas currently you see a lot of effort going towards moving the real world into the virtual world, like let's digitize everything, let's take reality and move it over in the digital domain, digital space. Well, what we are doing and we want to keep doing long term is actually, because there's no question, this is the big macro trend. We want to, you know, join the trend, but then also like do interesting stuff in the Metaverse, and you extract intelligence and useful information and then bring it back to the real world. So we definitely don't want to break this link between, you know, real and virtual. We want to make use of the virtual world in order to improve the real lives. So yeah, we are joining the trend, going digital, but then our core thesis is to bring it back, like to go from digital to real.
So digital is a tool for you, not a final destination. Okay, or let's say a compass back to reality, physical reality. Okay, now the actual start, the actual beginning of the conversation is with round one, and round one is about the solution, the product. So now let's start with you defining what you're doing, why you're doing, who you're doing this for, and then we'll jump into a short demo of the product itself. Okay.
Yeah, sounds good. So what are we doing at Neurolabs? It's really trying to change the way computer vision is done today. So maybe we can start with computer vision. Like, what is computer vision at the end of the day? So if AI is about having machines thinking or like reasoning to some extent, then computer vision is having those machines like seeing. It's kind of like the seeing part of the AI. Now, as you can imagine, seeing in general, well, for us humans is probably, if not the core process, like sensory input process, then it's definitely one of the core ones. So it's a similar story in AI. Computer vision plays one of the most important parts within AI, and it's present everywhere around us. We might or might not be aware of that, but it's already quite ubiquitous, and it is definitely going to be everywhere in 2, 5, or like 10 years time, of course. So right now, computer vision is about humans teaching machines how to see. What we are trying to do is we want to get the humans out of the loop in a way, and we can talk about why we want to do that, why we believe that having the human input in the process is restricting or it's kind of constraining the full power of the technology in a way. But what we want to do is we want to enable machines to teach themselves how to see. So we want to remove the human input in the whole process. And why we want to do that? Well, this will enable, first of all, a next level of computer vision, because as long as the humans are present in the whole process, we restrict the performance, both like the speed, but also the performance of the computer vision. And of course, at the end of the day, the applications that computer vision enable. And there's no point to do that. And I can give you here a very good analogy with chess. So humans were much better than any computers up until the end of last millennium, but more so in early 2000s, and around 2010, DeepMind managed to teach the computers how to play chess by they enabled computers to teach themselves how to play chess. And
so there's a learning loop kind of, right? And they're developing their skills while playing or probing or trying different versions and so on. Yeah, okay. And moreover, chess, you say chess, even more a bigger achievement for computers was to win over a human in a Go game, right?
Yeah, of course. But I think even like the chess analogy is a great starting point, just because I would imagine chess, at least here in Europe, chess is a lot more popular and rings more bells. But the point I'm trying to make is that the moment DeepMind managed to take out the human input, like you can think about it as domain expertise, right? And as long as human, it's limited, but it's great, right? I mean, if you bring together 10 like grandmasters in chess, of course they are putting a great performance. But the moment they abstracted away the human in the loop, this enable like a new sort of level for the chess to be played by the machines. And we've started to see like an increasing gap between what machines can do today when it comes to chess and what humans can do. So what we are doing at Neurolabs is we want to achieve a similar feat, but for computer vision. We want to take the human, because at the end of the day, humans, they are the ones responsible for collecting the data. Humans need to curate that data. Human needs to think about the right data to fit to the algorithm. So there's a lot of not just like first order level, but even like higher level input from even like supervision level input from the humans. And we want to abstract away all this interference in a way and let machines first of all generate their own data, but also teach themselves, like using the best
Ramos, would you agree that for humans, there's this well-known saying that seeing is believing, and in computer vision context, seeing is actually recognizing. So anyways, humans are needed in the very beginning to set the system into motion. And then your hope is that the computer will learn what new categories of visual objects. Is this the idea?
So the idea is that let's say what we want to do is we want humans to come in and say, I need to recognize these objects, let's say in this camera input, or I need an automated way of keeping an eye on XYZ. So basically humans are defining the real world application, and I think this is what humans should do. Now, we could stop there. Let's just stop there and let machines kind of like do the rest of the work. That's what I'm trying to say.
I have to ask you, do you plan, or are you using now the GPT-3 generation, or plan to use this? Because like some of the applications in GPT based on GPT-3, from what I know, are also based on humans giving verbal definitions that then are resulting into a visual representation of those definitions. Are you using GPT-3 or planning to, or is it helpful in any case, in any sense?
We were not using GPT-3. Our core focus is actually we want to give you the tool to be able to narrow down on your specific use case very, very quickly. GPT-3 it's great. It's an amazing thing what those people managed to do, to put together. But if you think about GPT-3, why do you think it works so well? Of course, it's about the algorithm, but it's about the data behind the algorithm. So
yeah,
it all begins with that data. And actually, this brings us to a very interesting topic, and kind of like one of the main reasons why Neurolabs is around. Data. Data is very scarce these days, and if you look at, of course.
Wait. Say it again. What do you mean? What do you mean? Data is very scarce. We are flooded with data upon data layers, and expand on this. Like, what do you mean data is scarce? You mean useful data, or data you can apply to your specific use cases?
Exactly. So you're absolutely right. There's a lot of noise, right? There's a lot of noise out there.
Yeah. Okay.
Data and good quality data is very scarce, and if you want to transform noisy data into good data that you can rely on in order to build real world applications, then you need to put a lot of effort, both in terms of money but also in terms of time. So you need people to curate the data. That's a very manual process. But even let's say you manage to curate the data, and you prepare all the data that you need, let's say millions of images for your specific use case. Now, this data in many real world applications is very perishable. So the data today won't help you in 1 year time. And think about the retail space, or like supermarkets. You go to a supermarket, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And I'm talking about this because we are very active in that space. So let's say you build it's very trendy at the moment, this cashierless checkout, right? In the UK, companies like Tesco is experimenting with that. So one way to do that using traditional computer vision is to collect a huge amount of data. And here we are talking about millions of images. And it's not just that data needs to come in huge size, but also the diversity. You need to capture a very, very diverse data set. So imagine how many different settings can be inside the store. You may have the lighting a bit off. I don't know. There's a lot of variability inside the real world environment. So let's say you manage to collect the data, you train a model, but then between 20 and 25% of the current products in a supermarket, they won't be there in 6 months' time, just because the pace of the changes in products is very, very high in the retail space. So even if you do it, even you collect the data, by the time you're done, your data is a bit obsolete. You can rely on that data too. So it's not a feasible approach to automate.
So what you want to say, it's easy. You can invest time, money, effort into creating static sets of data, but it doesn't help you all along like down the road, because very often half of the SKUs or like retail stock keeping units or product categories, let's say, they are changing all the time because new companies come into the shelf kind of, I mean, into the deal with the network, the retail chains and so on and so on. Okay, clear. Look, I think now it's high time for us to try and dive into the product itself so that you visualize to ourselves like what you're talking about, okay? Take me by the hand and guide me through the product or the program as a user would see, and yeah, the floor is yours. Let's move on.
Sure. So before I show you the product, which is a platform, I just want to put everyone into context. So one of the use cases, for example, that one could build through our platform is for a supermarket store, let's say, monitoring the shelves. So basically what you are doing here is you are capturing a camera stream, and you are taking pictures of the shelf, and you want to recognize each individual SKU in the picture, and you want to know if something is missing, if you want to count each product, and at the end of the day, you want to turn all these shelf insights into some actionable operations for the supermarket. But this is kind of like just one specific use case, and I'm going to show you how you can do that very quickly on our platform. So this is our platform. It's still work in progress. We at the moment it focuses a lot on generating the data. So I talked a lot about how important data is to computer vision, and without data, basically, you don't have computer vision. So this platform gives you the option to generate the data that you need to train the algorithms. And behind this platform is what we call synthetic computer vision. So instead of capturing real data, we use synthetically generated data. And what is that? So it all starts with 3D models of the real product. So here you can see a 3D model. This is what I mean by a 3D asset. So we digitize, we build a digital twin of every single real SKU. And on our platform, you can find a catalog. So here it's predominantly focused on the grocery space. But here you can see like different categories, and behind each of these images is actually a 3D model. And what you can do is you can very quickly generate a data set. So you can pick whatever products are of interest to you. You can regroup them if you wish. Then you go in here, and here basically we give you the option to select what's your use case. What are you interested in specifically? So it can be, let's say I'm interested in the supermarket shelf monitoring use case. Then as you see here, it comes with a few pre-built scenes, because what we are doing in the back is to take the 3D models that you are interested in and putting them, like generating some virtual worlds and putting them inside those virtual worlds, and varying a lot of different parameters, and varying camera angles, varying the lighting. So at the end you get, so here I won't generate, but basically it's as easy as it can get. It's a 3-4 click process. But then at the end, you get a data set. Actually, let me maybe check this one. So it takes a few minutes, and you can get a data set that, it looks like this. So of course, it's stuff that varies from very basic, very like close up instances of products to more complex stuff, So there's a lot, we spend a lot of time in terms of identifying the right the right methods that work for this synthetic data generation, and we tried to put them behind this platform. So this is how you would like generate your own data. Of course, as I said, it can be like the complexity of the data can be increased a lot. But if you look here, so this is a actually this is a synthetically generated data. So the Red Bull here is not a real Red Bull. This image was generated from a 3D model. And then you can have your data set. And of course, here we are building up the entire stack, like technological stack that gives you almost in a like in a plug and play way, gives you the option to connect one of your existing cameras, let's say from a store, generate your data. You'll be able very soon to train your own model. And actually we want to abstract that step away as well. So you'll go from like selecting your objects or your SKUs that you're interested in to selecting a camera stream. You can also build like a map of the shelf if you want to get like additional information, and just deploy it really in a matter of hours. You can have a model deployed in your desired solution. So what we give you at the end of the day is this train model, an API, and then you can use it in any workflow that you wish.
Okay. Remus, is your starting point to create 3D assets in cooperation with producers and manufacturers? You mentioned many brands, and I understand so you try to recruit them, so to say, into like providing their products for your 3D modeling. And then if I'm your client, and so, let's say I have a network of a chain of 10 shops, so I come to your 3D asset database, I understand, and choose from whatever you have there, choose the 3D assets to correspond my own offer or my own shelf content, right? Okay, clear. So basically, it's very ambitious. Your goal down the road is to have what? Virtually every product on the market?
Yeah. So we are
modest. Okay. Okay.
Not much about just gathering a huge collection of SKUs, right? Although we are building kind of like the largest collection of 3D assets for the grocery space in the world. However, we are focusing a lot on, as you mentioned, on figuring out that process that allows us to create these 3D assets before they actually end up being on the shelf. Like before a new product ends up being sold in a store, yeah. we have that 3D asset, so we can prepare the algorithm in advance to recognize the new comings.
So your ultimate goal is pretty ambitious. Is what to have an all-encompassing and all-inclusive kind of database of 3D assets. And of course, your success will depend whether or not the producers of these products for grocery stores and so on will open up, so to say, their digital assets to your database. Is this one of the biggest blocking or stumbling block right now, would you say?
To be completely honest, not really. We have figured some ways about how to go. Sorry, I think the light got a lot dimmer. It's not. You're right. We are putting a lot of effort in terms of sourcing the digital content straight away from the manufacturers, because we need that digital content in order to build these digital twins of the real products. Now, we have a pretty good like pipeline in place. We work with some of the big manufacturers. What we are really striving towards is to make it obvious to everyone along this grocery value chain the benefits of computer vision based automation. Because to me, it's a very hard sell to go to a manufacturer and say, hey, give me your data, because I'm working with this supermarket and I need your data to help this supermarket out, because they'll be okay, what's in for me? So, but the thing is, if everyone comes together, there's something for everyone involved. So the pie just gets bigger, and there's a bigger slice for everyone. Because let's take the shelf monitoring use case. Having shelf availability at all time is in everyone's interest, is in the supermarket's interest because they sell more. It's in the manufacturer's interest because, of course, they also sell more. So it's kind of like a win-win situation. So with the same solution, we can get both the supermarket and the manufacturer to join forces and reap the benefits of computer vision. So we are playing more on kind of like trying to connect a little bit various players within this grocery value chain. But it's a tough challenge, to be honest. But I do believe that it's kind of like the only way to fundamentally improve this space, because there are many inefficiencies, and I don't want to get too philosophical, but there are many sustainability issues that come into play, like food waste and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But basically what I'm trying to say is that computer vision, the same technology that we are developing, the same technology that so the computer vision we are generating from the same 3D assets can be very useful to multiple players within the value chain at different stages in this chain.
Yeah. In the product life cycle, it's a life cycle stage. Okay, Remus, tell me, what's the current status of implementing this in real life? Do you have any like pilots or clients or paying clients? And while we are at this, what's the pricing model, or what's the business model behind that? Whatever you can share, of course.
That's that sounds more like the one of the questions that the investors would ask. No, but it's a very good question. I mean, to be completely honest, it's still work in progress, figuring out the perfect product market fit, but also figuring out the best way to monetize our technology. So we are selling directly to end customers, to large supermarket chains. So far, we sold the technology. We piloted and deployed the technology at 2 of the biggest grocery chains in Europe. With one of them, we just went live, so I can't talk too much about that. More to come in the following days. However, we are also working closely with some of the solution providers. So these solution providers, they are like the companies in the value chain that have been working with the end customer for a long time. So basically what they do, they take our technology and they either use our technology to design their own solutions, or they take our shelf monitoring solution, for example, and resell it, or like help us basically, or like help both us and the end customer scale and deploy the technology. So it's a mix and match. We sell directly to end customers. However, we also sell to solution providers. And in terms of the business model, it's a SaaS model, a monthly recurring fee for access to our platform, or for access to our solution, like application.
And so you mentioned you just implemented in a large European retail chain, and I understand this is like hundreds and hundreds of stores, and so like millions of products and thousands of SKUs, if not dozens of thousands of SKUs. And so what's the earning potential with this kind of client? Can you cover this?
I mean, without sounding too vague, it's huge. I mean, think about just the what the shelf monitoring solution is doing is one tool to address a huge problem in the retail space, which is out of stocks. However, the out of stock problem is a lot more complex than just spotting that something is missing from the shelf. You need to understand why something is missing. Is it something to do with the store operations? Is it something to do with the suppliers? Maybe our purchasing team hasn't planned accordingly. So, the supply chain in retail is extremely complex. But in order to tackle this problem, which is a 600 billion problem, believe it or not, and actually this is something that Walmart came up with. I mean, it hurts Walmart a lot. So for them alone, it's a 3 billion annual problem. Of course, this won't be solved with shelf monitoring only alone, but shelf monitoring it's kind of like it's a prerequisite to solve that problem, because you need to be able to have the ground truth. You need to know how your shelves are looking right now, or even like throughout the day. If you want, basically, you need to be aware of the problem before you actually start looking. So just this specific application, it's the potential from a total addressable market is huge. But I think, and this is just kind of like front store operational improvement, but you can think about like all like similar problems that are happening like along this value chain. From the moment the SKU gets manufactured, right? You have like quality control. You need the manufacturers. They need to make sure that an SKU is in a great state when it leaves the factory. Then you have the people that need to take that product and put it inside the supermarkets. But the story doesn't stop there. This journey, you have the consumers. They pick the products right inside the stores. They took it to their homes. There's a lot of work being done these days by the main fridge manufacturers, for example, coming up with these solutions to basically empower the customers to be a bit more like self-aware about what's inside the fridge, like about their eating habits.
Yeah.
And then eventually all the way, ideally and hopefully, to the recycling plant. So you can see how we coined this term the SKU journey. So it starts at the manufacturing plant and it ends in a recycling plant, ideally. And along this journey, there are many different stops, to put it that way, where computer vision could provide, or like the visibility, the automated, accurate visibility that computer vision gives you can enable a lot of improvement in efficiency.
Look, this is computer vision based company, right, and project, and it seems to me like with all the like zillion of users of computer vision, you might come to a moment where you think, what the hell, here's another use case that we could pivot into. Do you have any alternative, let's say, business contexts where you think your product would be very useful? And just to give you maybe a little bit of a help there, we are now, like, I think somewhere in between lockdowns of like COVID times, judging by these statistics. Do you think your team and your solution and your like brain power in the company will be able to create a like mask detection solution, computer vision based, which is easy, which should be easier for you, right?
This is something that's already been done, and it's nothing complicated there. But I mean, you could even use our platform. All you would have to do, and actually I didn't mention it, but you can bring your own 3D models onto our platform. So you can generate your 3D model of a mask, or you can buy it. There are like marketplaces online where you can, for $20-$30, you can get a 3D model, bring it onto our platform and generate your data and get your model. But these are
This is critical. This is critical. Sorry. So I have my data set. I bring it to your platform, and in no time, I can implement it into my business context.
Yeah, the only problem here is that you don't need to bring your data set, because we give you the data set. You bring the 3D assets, or you choose from our catalog, or you tell us basically what you want to recognize, and we can, I mean, from as little as 6 photos, we can reconstruct a 3D asset for you.
I see. Okay.
But that's the whole
To
point of our
okay.
platform. The fact that you don't need to bring your data, because if you have your data, you can take it to, you know, Google's
other platforms. Okay. Remus, I know you will need to run to another meeting right very soon. Let's try and jump to the next rounds of this conversation. So round number 2, competitors. Of all the competitors out there, who would you say are your, I don't know, most dangerous or most or best to follow and try to, like, you know, crush them sometime in future?
To be completely honest, I don't. So we operate in a space, this synthetic data space. It's something that's still very fresh out of academia. If you ask people, most of them will tell you that it's something that isn't proved, hasn't been proved so far, hasn't been validated basically by the industry. So it's a space. It's still in its infancy. And there is room for everyone. There's no clear leader in the synthetic data game.
Okay.
There are probably 3 companies that are at Series A level. Let's put it that way, or probably even just one. What we've seen is that most of these companies get snapped by big tech companies pretty early on in their trajectory. So we used to keep an eye on this company from the States. It's called AI Reverie. They were, I would say, probably definitely top 5, top 3 even synthetic data generations companies. And 3 weeks ago, they got acquired by Facebook. So now
by who? Say it again. By who?
By Facebook. By Facebook.
Oh, okay. And now we have this bracketing with the beginning of the conversation about Metaverse. Yeah, I didn't know this. I didn't know this, but I think this was fed into my brain by Metaverse kind of brain out there. Okay, so in this synthetic data recognition, I understand. So this is still in the infancy, not very far from academia, not many companies in the space reaching like what advanced stages. And just as you said, the giants, as soon as they see somebody up and running in this space, they're just basically acquiring the team, right? The brain power. Because I understand the products are not yet there. Finally, yeah.
It's more a bet on the talent and the brains of those. But I can tell you for sure that we are one of the very few companies that have deployed into production like synthetic computer vision. So, and by that I mean that computer vision algorithms that are trained purely on synthetically generated data. Usually you would see like many companies, you know, going with a mix of synthetic and real. And another, I would say, differentiating aspect here is that you have quite a few companies that focus on synthetic data generation, and that's it. So they stop there. They give you the data, and that's it. Whereas we, for many different reasons, we keep the data generation and the model training together, because we rely on a strong loop between, like, feedback loop between the two. But I don't want to get now into, you know, a too technical conversation. But that's why I'm finding it a bit difficult to put ourselves on the competitor
horizon. Yeah. Round 3 is very quick. Q&A first and foremost. Like, what, you're a busy CEO, co-founder, I understand. Do you have any productivity hacks? And again, not a program, but like the way of doing things that you could share.
Yeah, I try to hire very smart people. No, of course.
Amazing. Okay. So, and your own productivity hacks other than using other human beings.
Yeah. I'm a tech person by training, so I do enjoy quiet time. I'm probably also a bit of an introvert on an emotional side. What I found out that works very well for me is to have these sessions of deep work throughout the day. So what I do usually, I plan for the week ahead at least one session of an hour and a half of deep work every day. And this is like a time where I get off Slack, I switch off my email. I actually book my calendar so that people know that I'm booked. And during this 1.5 hour, I'm super productive. And for me, this is the morning time. So, but of course, it varies and it's different for each and everyone. So yeah, kind of like blocking blocks of time in my calendar. I'm also trying to not be almost like not be available. I know I hope it doesn't sound like too bad, but like I'm trying not to jump on an email like the first minute it hits me, or even like the first hour. So I like to time box kind of like replying to email. So I have like a session in the morning and one in the evening, kind of like late afternoon. Okay. So these are things that I found that work pretty well for me. Otherwise, it's very easy for me to get dragged into many different things, just because I keep an eye on I feel I know and I feel the tech very, very well, but I'm mostly involved in sales. So for me, everything is kind of like interesting, both from the customer side, from the user side, but also from the tech side. So it's a bit difficult sometimes to not get distracted by seemingly interesting developments in different areas of the company.
Yeah, but interesting insight there. So in a nutshell, so you said deep work session where you just shell yourself out like from the rest of the world, business or company or otherwise, and just focus on what top priority jobs or things to do. And also you try to cluster similar types of activities, right, into a one-time unit. So it's like 2-3 times a day you check emails, and all the rest of the day you are free from email checking, so to say. Okay. Interesting. Quick and to the point. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to add one last thing. So these deep work sessions are usually reserved for like activities or like pieces of work that require a lot of intense mental activity. So it won't be like just almost like semi-automatically replying to email. It's more about, okay, time to think a little bit about a strategy, or like I don't know, like a strategic collaboration proposal, or kind of like the important things, basically. Probably those things, the 20% that accounts for 80% of the results that you end up seeing.
Remus, let's move on. The company. So in a nutshell, company is 3 years old, more or less. You are almost exactly to the day 3 years. Your founders are a team of 3. I guess Remus Pop, yourself, co-founder, COO as well, right? Paul Pop, co-founder, CEO, and Patrick Fulop, co-founder, CTO, I guess. And so Paul Pop is your...
Not my brother.
Okay.
No. No, we just share the same surname, but we are not related in any way. But the three of us,
interesting,
like lifelong friends. We met more than 10 years ago at university. Wow. Actually, with Patrick, we know each other going back to secondary school in Romania. So I guess that's kind of like our kind of like Central and Eastern European story. All 3 of us Romanians left Romania for the UK after high school to study at university here in Edinburgh in Scotland. Then we all pursued technical, more or less technical degrees. After university, we each kind of like followed our own path, and then we got back together 3 years ago, and yeah, put into practice our student days dream to start a company. Cool.
And you are now in Edinburgh.
I'm in Edinburgh. Paul is in Edinburgh as well, and Patrick is in London.
Okay. Interesting. So, and the company is around 15-16 people right now, I understand. Are you hiring now? And if yes, what are the most challenging roles and positions?
Yeah. So first of all, we aren't that many. We are only around 11, 12 people at the moment. However, we are in the process of hiring. We are also in the process of fundraising for our seed round. But yeah, hiring it's a tough one, especially hiring technical talent. And we computer vision engineers and computer graphics engineers, they are in extremely high demand at the moment. It's a tough game to get people to actually believe in what you are building, but also to join you. Like, why wouldn't they go and work for the big tech companies? But we do manage to be a bit successful solely by the fact that what we are doing is quite unique. It's almost like a shift in the computer vision paradigm. Also, I mentioned that I'm in Edinburgh because we are all of us at University of Edinburgh alumni, and here in Edinburgh, the computer vision space is quite strong. It has a very long tradition, especially in academia. So we are very close to the university, and that allows us to hire, especially junior people, talented and very eager to prove themselves. However, it's still a bit, like all that stuff apart, it's still a bit difficult to hire. But that's why we can, like, although we originated in Romania and then we open an office in UK as well, now we are kind of like remote first. We have people in Germany, in France, Romania, the UK, and I guess that's kind of like the new normal, right? Especially in tech. It's kind of like becoming a must if you want to attract the right people.
Yeah, and this new hype on the remote work makes it easier to justify hiring people remote, just because you can hide behind the trend. Although I'm of the opinion that, of course, face-to-face cooperation and like rubbing elbows with your teammates every day is a little bit more effective. But hey, what can you do, right? The challenges. This like modern, like nowadays challenges just make it necessary to adjust and to adapt, and remote probably saves lots of companies right now. Let's move on to last but not least, round 5, which we call round F3, formula F3, which is funding for the future. So you mentioned you are now in the raising stage yourself, and funded by now totals around 1.2 million euros. And this would all of this brought you to pre-seed round, I guess, right?
Right.
So let me just mention the investors on your deck right now. So 7% Ventures, ID4 Ventures, and now your lights go off. Techstart Ventures, Luna Ventures, and some other angels as well, right? Now, yes. So tell me, as long as you are now in the seed kind of stage,
I'm hearing,
financing sorry. Round. Yeah, okay, let's move on anyways. Tell me, who is your ideal venture capital partner? How would you define? Like, who are you targeting right now? Anybody giving money, or you have a specific target by now?
No, of course, you don't want to just get in bed with anyone that you encounter.
Yes, okay.
We do have in mind like a few. So for the pre-seed round, we looked very much into getting people that understand deep tech, because at the core, we are a deep tech company. We didn't want the classic spreadsheet investors that would chase MRR from day one. We wanted people that could understand our technology, could also understand the significant impact that our technology could bring to computer vision in general, and then automation, all that stuff. And of course, we did want some VCs to kind of like keep us a bit grounded in reality, because at the end of the day, you do need to create some value, some business value that's of course quantified in revenues and things like that. So for the pre-seed round, most of our VCs were European-based ones.
Mm-hmm.
Now we are trying to get closer to the US market, of course, just because we are seeing a lot of interest and traction in the synthetic computer vision space coming from the States, and we believe that it's kind of like it's a, and together with the automation story that we can tell, it's something that resonates a lot with the US market at the moment. However, having said that, it's not like we are not paying attention to the European one. Ideally, I think we still want to get a well-renowned European VC, just because we are probably one of the very, very few synthetic data companies in Europe. And we do believe there's a lot of opportunity here in Europe, and especially if we plan to stay in the retail space, there's a lot to do here in Europe. And I think we would like to have a well-known European VC still involved in our life. So for this round, yeah, we are looking to raise 4 million. It's dollar. It could probably, I know, this is kind of like a small detail, could be dollars, euros. And we are looking to get ideally a VC that brings, although it's a VC round, ideally would be a VC that can help us a lot in the next round, which will be a Series A. So for us, would probably be like a typical Series A VC that's doing seed investments every now and then, just because it will save us a lot of time, with the when the next round comes.
Okay, and last question. So you are targeting right now 4 million US or European dollars, so to say. What would be your goal, and how do you plan to use this money? Like, where are the pain points?
Yeah, so to begin with, we will become the go-to provider of computer vision technology in the grocery space, and in order to achieve this, we will need to build the largest 3D asset catalog for the grocery space. That will take some of the money. However, I showed you a demo of the platform. We really want to not just to continue the development of our technology, but we want to put it inside that platform, and in this way to put this technology that we believe is revolutionary in the hands of pretty much anyone that's interested in automating some real world application. And we want to cater not just for the computer vision experts necessarily, but also to the non-experts, non-computer vision experts as well. And that's kind of like, yeah, we're leaning more towards automation, and yeah, a lot of effort will go towards that goal as well.
Okay, Remus, with this, we have to finish this chat. Thanks a lot for this insight into the product. Congratulations with what you have achieved now. Good luck with the financing round, investment round, and we will try to keep track of your successes. Go build your Rome. I could not avoid this this illusion. Go build your Rome and conquer, create your own Roman Empire in the retail space with your computer vision based solutions.
Great.
Thank you very much.
This podcast. Thanks a lot for having me here, and yeah, happy to be back anytime in the future.
Bye.